10 football teams in America. What are their biggest concerns? This is our next segment. It's our last segment for the National Hour tonight. We're going to go through the top 10 list. Here's how this is going to happen. We're going to start with Georgia at number 1. I am going to count to 3 like this. 1, 2, 3. And the boys and I, at the same time, will name our singular concern we have about that football team. Are we ready for this?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Georgia, number 1. 1, 2, 3.
Surviving the schedule.
Surviving the schedule. You said star?
Schedule.
Both of y'all said schedule. I said Nickelback. All right. Why the schedule? It's just that tough?
It's just that difficult.
No holes on the roster in
because,
your opinion?
I don't think too many people would honestly bat an eye, and it wouldn't be that big. It wouldn't be that big of a deal, or would it be a big deal? But there's a path where you lose 3 games. And losing 3 games keeps you out of the playoff. But if you can survive that 3-game stretch, if you can survive those 3 road games, then you're fine. But it's all about surviving those 3 road games.
I think the worst part about those road games is the opportunity for you to get your just head beat in the slot with really, really good weapons. Ole Miss obviously has one in Juice Wells. Alabama obviously has one in Kobe Prentice. Texas obviously has one in Isaiah Bond. That's why I think we share the same concerns. We just share them differently. Mm-hmm. Y'all's are the schedules. Mine's the nickelback position. It's not that I don't think Jonel Aguero is great. I just think last couple of years, that's the way you get them. If you want to score explosively and you want to score quickly on Georgia, do that right there. All right, on to Ohio State. 1, 2, 3. Quarterback.
Losing to Michigan again.
Losing to Michigan, quarterback.
Yeah.
All right. Anti-Will Howard deep state speaks for itself. Why are you worried about them losing to Michigan again?
Because if you lose to Michigan after everything that Michigan's gone through with all the roster that they've lost and the fact that this team is arguably one of the best Ryan Day's ever assembled, I don't think that's something he can recover from. Now, quarterback could play a part into that, but the reality is that you've lost to Michigan 3 years in a row because you've gotten out physicaled by them. It hasn't necessarily been quarterback play. You've had really, really good quarterbacks in those 3 games. So as much of a question mark as quarterback is right now, I think losing to Michigan is much more damning for you.
So we've been 2 out of 3 on both of these so far. All right. On to Oregon. 1, 2, 3.
First year in the Big Ten.
What'd you say?
I said first year in the Big Ten.
First year in the Big Ten.
Secondary,
same thing. 70%. 70% of the 10 guys that they have in there 2 deep at the 5 defensive back positions got there in January. 70% of the dudes on the 2 deep just got there in January. Dan Lanning is a great football coach. Absolutely extraordinary on the defensive side of football. It's why he's making $9 million a year being a head football coach. It's why he got where he is. He is great defensively. However, that's a lot of new bodies and a lot of new terminology for a defense that is not easy to absorb. That makes me worry a little bit about those guys.
Absolutely.
And you said what? Big Ten. Why is that worry you a little bit?
Because the amount you have to travel and you're facing unfamiliar teams, it's going to be very hard to not win, but just succeed vehemently in that schedule.
So we're still 2 out of 3. Mm-hmm. Let's see if we can hit all 3 right here, because I think we might all share the same concern about Texas. Texas, 1, 2, 3.
Secondary.
Defense.
Fair enough.
We'll take it.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll take it.
I almost went just secondary.
Secondary is the primary concern.
But the defense as a whole, too.
I'm so baffled by how you watch your defense be 108th last year, I think, in passing yardage allowed.
Yeah.
108th last year in passing yardage allowed. And they didn't do a damn thing in the portal.
No.
Nothing. All that money they got out there, they're just like, you know what? Last year, when we had these decent groceries and made a shitty meal, let's just keep the same groceries, dog. Like, what? How? What? All that money y'all got out there, and y'all out here shopping at Goodwill for your trip. I don't get this. I don't get this at all. It made no sense to me.
I almost did put injuries on this, because obviously losing CJ Baxter, Quinn Ewers has never finished a season start to finish.
That's crazy.
Due to injuries. So I mean, injuries could very quickly mount up for this Texas team.
All right, number 5, Alabama. 1, 2, 3.
No
Identities. Huh?
Defense.
No Saban. I said identity, which is kind of aligning with the no Saban thing. I think the only worry I have about DeBoer this year is the fact that he's caught in this hybrid between trying to do what he does with half of Nick Saban's roster. Prime example is their offensive line. Like, they're out here talking about Caden Proctor, and Caden Proctor's great. Caden Proctor looks nothing like any tackle DeBoer's ever had. Nothing. Their tackle last year, number 55, that I love so much that I always draw a name on and can't remember. He was an early second-round draft pick. The dude was a specimen of an athlete. The guy's sub 5 in the 40. The guy is sub 4.4 in the 5-10-5 shuttle. The guy's involved in a screen game. The guy's involved in counter. The guy can skip pull. The guy can do everything because that's how they played. They were a gap scheme football team. That whole offensive line has been recruited to be a zone scheme, which means we're just we're going to road grade y'all. We're playing bully ball. Alabama back to the bread and butter of what we do. That's what they've been talking about for 2 years now. Now all of a sudden they're going to become a misdirection gap scheme offensive design, but with those player personnel, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even know if it's so much so about no more Nick Saban, the GOAT's gone, all that good stuff. To me, it's about, we got the GOAT's players with the GOAT's ideology of a roster, at least 40% of it, 50% of it, and most of our good players come from him, and they came from systems that, really enhance their abilities, and now we're going to make them do what we do. That is a confusion of identity, and that to me is a little bit worrisome.
Mm-hmm. I put Saban just because every reason or concern that you have is legitimate, but you always in the back of your mind go, well, it's Nick Saban. He's going to be able to figure it out. Mm-hmm. You don't have this luxury with Kalen DeBoer right now because it's year one and Saban's not there. So that's kind of why I put it as the biggest concern.
Yeah.
Corner depth's reasonable concern.
I see Smooth as agreeing with me about the defense, and it is because of the secondary. Losing Kool-Aid McKinstry and Terrion Arnold, those are two big names to replace. And then also you throw in Dallas Turner in the mix.
And
Caleb Downs. So those are four major playmakers that you lost on your defense, and you're somehow going to have to replace, put that in quotation marks. You're hoping Keon Saab can help fill the void a little bit, but they're going to be searching for some answers early on in the season.
All right, can we go 3 for 3 one more time? Ole Miss, number 6. 1, 2, 3.
Hitting on defensive transfers.
Lane. Mercenary roster.
Hitting on defensive transfers.
Yeah, mercenary roster on the defensive side of football. My concern's Lane. I think there's going to be a big game where he's like, you know what? I spent all week talking shit. Bring your popcorn, lose by 35. My team was flat, but I wasn't.
I mean, that is true. You have never been able to reach those heights as a Lane Kiffin girl. Like, you've never even really sniffed it, honestly. It's always been like, hey, week 7's here. Ole Miss is looking really, really good. And they just got their shit kicked in.
And just because you got a better roster, it doesn't fix that issue. Nope. I don't care how good your roster is. If you can't, like, that doesn't solve the issue of falling apart in big games.
Number 7, Notre Dame. 1, 2, 3.
Offensive production.
All 3 said offensive production, wide receiver talent, all that good stuff on the outside.
Finding a way to be Notre Dame.
Michigan, number 8. 1, 2, 3. All of it concerns me.
Pretty much.
All of it concerns me.
I think
distractions, no longer being able to play the martyr. Like, they got to play the world hates us last year. We're going to go win a title and shove it in their face. Like, what do you do this year when the whole world's looking at you like a bunch of cheaters?
Well, I think your biggest worry now is your suspensions. Like, everything that's going to happen this year, let's be honest, everything that happens on the field this year will be okay because of what happened on the field last year. Like, after you win a national title for going so long without it, the next season's kind of a wash. What's going to happen in the future is going to be largely dependent on those suspensions they get, if there's any, in the looming investigation. That's the biggest concern if I'm a Michigan fan right now. It's not, hey, what are we going to look like this year? It's what's going to happen to our program 5 years down the road if the NCAA comes out and says something.
Penn State, 1, 2, 3.
Not making the expanded playoff.
All right. What?
Not making the expanded playoff.
Oh, yeah. But why wouldn't they? What would your concern be for them not doing it?
I almost did put Drew out. I tried to be unique in this. I didn't realize we were trying to do
try to be different.
I didn't realize we were trying to do a cohesive thing here.
I'm just out here fucking shit up, boss. Florida State at number 10. 1, 2, 3.
Receiver talent.
Wow. We were just different today. I thought we were going to be on the same vibes with some of this stuff. I got major questions.
That's why we're great.
Even though Ed D, the one, you know what I love about us doing this national stuff, and I know we're way over, and that's fine. We're starting to get sprinkled. Like, we got a couple of Bama fans in here tonight. We got a couple of FSU fans in tonight. I saw an Ohio State fan hanging out in here earlier tonight. What I need you guys to do that have chosen to watch us and trust us with your national college football content, tell your friends, man. If you have friends in your fan base, let them know that this exists. Bring them over here and make them a part of this family. Because Lord knows the chat is way more fun when there are a variety of fan bases in there. That is a tremendous, tremendous opportunity for us to continue to grow via organic growth, word of mouth by you guys. All right, we got a whole